How you feeling, Josh? You like how the things are set up now?
Other than I'm getting a whole bunch of echo from you.
Okay. Have we got anybody else in Zoom? Is anybody else getting the echo?
I'm not hearing any echo.
Okay,
Okay.
then it's just me. Good.
Okay. So we'll just cruise on, and you can you feel free to tinker as much as you want. I won't have my hands on the keyboard a whole lot. I just want to just look at the Zoom room, make sure I know who I'm talking to. Hi, Chris. Welcome.
Hey, thank you.
Um,
You're gonna
and
be sharing your screen, right?
I guess I will. Actually, yeah, that's true. I gotta have my hands on this a lot. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here.
I got. I'll be
Oh,
heading off to other things here in a few minutes, so I just want to get you going and make sure you're working.
Okay. Much appreciated.
I'll be checking in. I just got some dinner to cook and stuff like that.
Yeah. All good. A little more volume there. Okay, so Chris, you'll be the only person tonight doing the dynamic part acquisition thing. So just let me know how that goes. I'll be describing it mainly for your benefit. Everybody in the room here is we're gonna do it different, to say the least. Okay, warm up. Just take a second and be present. We'll do the same scale we've been doing in a minute, but let's just take a second and settle in. And then one time through that first scale exercise, mindfulness of the relationship between the tones and the chakra system is optional, and I will some of the times through I'll describe them in harmonics, the numbers 8 through 16, and a couple of times I'll go through them in chakras for those of us who are practicing body awareness with these pitches. Here we go. 2, 3, and in harmonics. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 16, 15. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, root 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. That's the last one. Okay, so that we've seen many times. The next set of exercises are designed specifically to do two things. One is to get us practicing. Sorry, I can't face you guys because I'm also recording and trying to have this be accessible to a wide online audience. Eventually, I'll get it figured out such that I can turn around and talk to the people who are live and also be heard by the people in there. This set of exercises are designed to do two things. One is to introduce the concept of dynamic part acquisition, in which you can use, in this case, a set of stereo headphones to learn a part and to sing against a part. So those of you who are in cyberspace right now, you're going to want to probably want to know which ear is which one is which, and have your right in your right, as opposed to it not mattering. And in one of the ears, you're going to kind of learn your part from it, and the other you're going to sing against that part. And so as you learn your part, you'll then gradually take the ear which you are starting on and remove it such that you're singing against the part. And we did this 3 weeks ago. It's the same exact scale. It's literally the same exact recording, just offset to 2 notes and done in a round. And so if you've got your headphones, then you'll hear my voice in your left ear will start the scale, and then 2 notes later, in your right ear will start. And your job is really just to sing one of them and sing along with it until you can let go of it and then sing against the other part. So I'm going to play this once. In the live room, the way you do this in a live room is you just split up the room, and you have one set do one and the other set do the other. So in this case, it doesn't matter which side you do, but I'll just have, generally speaking, this side of the room start, this side of the room do the second half of the room, and you get to choose whichever one you want. Sure. Okay. So this is called thirds and a round, I think we're calling it now, scales and a round. And this one is, in Western music, we call these thirds. That nomenclature makes absolutely no sense in harmonic series and just intonation work, so I'll probably change that, but for now that's what we have and that's what we're going to use. So once again, the instructions for those who are in cyberspace: start with one earpiece in, and it doesn't matter which one it is, and get going on that part, and then add the other ear, and eventually you want to remove the first ear such that you are singing against the part or harmonizing with the part. The other piece that we're doing here is we're just embodying 2-part harmonies. Within the context of this exercise, we experience real-time experience, whatever it is, 8 out of the 28 2-part harmonies in the harmonics in this part of the harmonic series. Okay, here we go. So here comes the first part. Good. So you're getting the hang of it. Chris, that pretty intuitive? Did my description more or less work for your understanding of what's going on here? Okay, good. I want to do the exact same thing again because we're going to do a bunch of these, and the other ones are a lot more difficult and a lot less intuitive. This is the one that if people are practicing on your own, this is the one that you really would want to spend a lot of time with because the harmonies sound good and they make sense I want to do the other ones, but I want to do them as more as like exercises, like kind of like building muscle exercises as opposed to exercises that are a little bit more about embodiment. Josh, are you driving right now? Let me know if you want me to leave the keyboard alone. I'm going to retreat or rewind and start again. And here we go. Same exercise. Let's switch sides now. Some combination of the left will start. Some combination of this right or stage right. I can't even think about it.
Do you want to do the second part? So it's 2 and 2. What are you?
Yeah, I'm gonna generally favor whichever part I can't hear as much. I think.
Okay, I'll try to start with Trina.
Okay, then I'll go there. That's great. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, here we go. Great, we did it without the help of the thing at all. So just a little reminder that all these things are published as single units in other places. You don't necessarily need to be jumping around in a recorded Zoom to get to these things. There's also one of these where we do it where I do it all of my voices in like an 8-part round where it's somebody starts, somebody else starts, and it just keeps on going infinitely, which is really fun because it becomes one of those kind of meandering scales things where you can start to just improvise and go wherever you want, and it becomes, I think it actually becomes almost the exact same thing as the consistent redundant exercise, the one that we do a lot of and we'll do again tonight, because it winds up creating the exact same chords if you interpolate it over time enough. And I think that happens as soon as you've got 4 voices doing it, then you've literally got the exact same exercise that we've been doing since the beginning of this, since this project launched. Okay, so let's go to one that's a little bit more hard. This one is quote unquote fourths. Again, antiquated terminology there, but it intuitively it's the same thing, but one voice will start one note later. So instead of on the 3rd note of the scale, the next voice will come in on the 4th note of the scale. So let's just listen to this. I'll not play the whole thing, but listen to how this sounds. It's and keep in mind that we're embodying and understanding these harmonies with every one of these relationships. Think of it as a different aspect of the cosmos, if you will, because the difference between every one of these harmonies is a representation of nature, of everything we deal with. And so the difference between these harmonies and the last harmonies is really quite profound. So we're just going to listen to this one or two rounds of it so that we know what we're getting into here. So here's the first voice. So, and when you're practicing these things at home, not that you're required to do so, but do listen to them once in a while. Just listen to them rather than sing them, because these harmonies are unique, and you don't hear them anywhere else. So let's start with this side of the room. We'll start. This side of the room you'll follow. I'll do my best. This will be fairly hard to direct, but I'll do my best. And at any time, if you need to, this is where dynamic part acquisition is really a big deal, because people in cyberspace can just hear their part without the other distraction in one ear, and when you get off, you're just like boop, and so you can go back and forth. So it's a pretty powerful tool that you can use when you're walking in the forest with your Walkman or watching on Zoom or whatever. And I'll try and be real clear about how that can be utilized to master this material. Okay, so we're starting. You guys are following. Everybody in cyberspace has the 2-ear advantage. Here we go. Fourths. Cool. I don't know what it's like out there, but in this room, the harmonies are exquisite. There's like all these overtones, and it's really amazing stuff. Was that somebody trying to talk? Josh, was that you? Or? No, okay. Feel free. Sometimes I get a little disoriented with the amount of with the bridge between. No, please do. This isn't the kind of class where you're not supposed to talk. You are supposed to talk. It's just that I might not know what's going on for a minute. Okay, good. So, like I said, they get a little bit more and more difficult and a little bit more chaotic, especially given that there's a drummer in there who is then playing some interesting counter rhythmic patterns. We're going to go back in time to the seconds. This one is harder also because the harmonies are very tight. They're very close together, And so these are still technically consonances. Everything we do is a consonant concept, but to our ears they'll sound very dissonant because they are far more complex consonances than most of us have ever heard before. These are analogous to whole tones and analogous to in jazz language would be like flat nines and stuff like that. They're very close together. For example, are our first two pitches, and our second two are, and they just get closer and closer. And so this is really an exercise. We're not doing this for the aesthetic value so much as we're doing it as an exercise, and so that we can know that we have tried, or at least looked at and experienced once, what every single two-part harmony in the eighth mode is. We want to in the course of our study we want to have engaged with every single harmony available, and so these are a number of them. These are eight of the harmonies in the eighth mode. So this is it's around, but they start right after each other. So one scale will go la, and then the next one will immediately start afterwards. So it'll sound like la 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 la. And again, this is going to be challenging. This will be much easier for you in cyberspace than it will be for us here in the room. And lean into that, enjoy that, and also, and I will remember. In the comments, this presumably will be posted on YouTube. In the comments, I will put links to these raw tracks so that there are no distractions and there isn't any other noise or anything like that in there. This is seconds. We're calling this seconds now. Chris, let me know if you can come up with a better name for these. I don't know in just intonation what we would call these exercises. I would love to have something less archaic. Okay, here we go. Why do I feel like I don't have the right thing queued up here? Let's go. I guess we should have done it backwards on the. No, let's just move forward. But this time you guys start. We'll follow. And it's right after, so it's la 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 la. So straight in. Okay, here we go. Wait, but you guys are starting, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So. That was a great experiment, and extremely difficult live. Chris, can you give me just a kind of a general idea of how that went for you in headphones? Pretty good. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I gotta deal with this little water disaster. So I want to go back to the thirds one and just have everybody sing this because it's so much more comfortable, and I want to encourage this one to be the focus. So we're gonna play this while I go deal with the glass of water I just knocked over. Here we go. Sing whatever part you want. Okay, good. That's the one labeled thirds. So if you're looking for it in cyberspace land,
For you all, either way, or is it about the same either way for you?
I think starting second is more difficult.
It seems like it. Yeah, it seems like that to me. Definitely.
yeah, I agree with that.
To go with what's happening, and you have to do something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should try this with the headphones trick. It's a very different and very interesting experience. Okay, so this one is fifths. So this one gets even more chaotic, but the idea is to experience and hear every possible combination of notes. So let's listen to this once without singing it. We'll just listen to a couple of it. And again, I want to encourage people to really think or really feel into the quality of the harmonies here. We're going to skip that one because there is an error in there that makes it impossible to hear the harmonies. I mean, you can hear it, but it's challenging. Let's go to sixths. I'll redo that when time allows. So this is the sixth, same idea, and these we may not even sing this one. I want these are more conceptual than anything. I don't want to spend a ton of time on them. So you get the idea, and you only really hear. There's only really three intervals in there that you hear, but they're very wide and they're very different than the other ones. And in future exercises, we'll go after these things in more of in a less kind of in a more simple way, where we'll just literally go and in two voices we'll just hit every harmony that we can hit. I'm still working on developing the exercise that will make that easy. What the advantage of what we're doing right now is that everybody's been singing this particular scale for a couple of weeks, and it gives us something to kind of latch onto. So I'm just gonna play real quick the 7, and the 7 is actually it's like that, and we're not going to play it because it almost goes without saying that it's more chaotic, and it is a useful exercise, but you really only hear one extra interval that we've kind of already gone over. So let's go back to the thirds because it's where we really want to be thinking about this, and I want to encourage everybody to flip across to whatever part that you have done the least, and do the one that you've done the least.
Back to thirds.
Yeah, we're going back to the thirds. This one is really where it's at, and I think that we'll even go so far as to add the other rounds to this, because this is worth doing in a. This actual take isn't set up that the scale goes up down up down up down. The lead vocalist takes a break every time, which changes the exercise. When we do this in a round as a published exercise, that break will be left out, but it's still effective. So let's do this one more time, and everybody do whatever part you are least comfortable with, and then we'll do this as a 3 or 4 part round. Here we go. First part is here. Should just add that at the end so that the song doesn't sound interrupted. Okay, so you guys get the idea, and I know we're pounding this a lot, but that's what you do when you're learning a scale, especially a scale that you've been trained against your entire life. So now we're going to do this in a 4-part round. We're going to use the same track, so you won't. Nobody in cyberspace or live gets any support on the 3rd and 4th parts. So the first part obviously is going to be easier. The second part will be a little bit easier than that. Yeah. And then the 3rd part will be substantially more difficult, and the 4th part will be the hardest of all of them. But as we do this, pay attention to how the harmonies are let me know if you need anything down there. Are complexifying, and we're going to wind up with 4-part harmony at this point, which we've actually done the 4-part harmonies that we're doing here, but we're approaching in a very different way. So I will sing the lead. You go second. Okay. Go third.
Sure.
And when Trina gets back, she can. We'll mix. We're going to do this a couple of times, and the idea is to just gradually increase complexity and take this. This original first scale exercise to its logical conclusion, and again, this will. This is something we're working towards turning into an actual composition. This will be the kind of the backdrop of a composition that will be an exercise, both an exercise and a piece of music. Okay, here we go. I'll be on the 1, Brian is on the 2, Kavik's on the 3, and Trina can join when she gets here. I just realized that with people in cyberspace, you won't have the benefit of having the 3rd or 4th parts. So if you are in cyberspace, sing the 3rd, intentionally sing the 3rd part here, so that the first part is in your left ear. For example, the second part is in your right ear. You are singing the 3rd part. I will sing the 4th part so that everybody gets the full benefit. This is a much more intelligent way to do a hybrid thing. I'm still learning how to master this hybrid thing. So can we do any volunteers to go first? Who wants to go first?
I can go first.
First, second, or third?
You can maybe just go in order.
Okay, first, second, third. I'm 4th. Okay. And if you're in cyberspace, I recommend being 3rd in the line. Okay, last time through this exercise, and then we'll go into other stuff. Wow, that was 40 minutes of the scale. Okay, that's what we do. That's what musicians do. Here we go. So not easy stuff, but great exercise. And even I imagine I'm also throwing people off by not getting perfect notes, and I hear other people not getting perfect notes. That's good. It's a good thing, and there are no wrong notes. Lean into whatever it sounds like.
I had to plug both ears. I was like, okay, I can't hear anyone but me.
I want to do that too, but I start losing. I feel like I'm losing time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like I lose time when I'm if I plug both of my ears, and
Yeah.
then I get lost.
And then you know where to go. Yeah, and all this stuff all of that is useful. And even just being with that feeling of being lost, that also is useful. And it's actually part of what you do when you start looking at this kind of thing is you start to be like, oh, actually, I do have to access all of the emotions on the spectrum if I'm going to look at all of the harmonies in the eighth mode. So just roll with it. It's good. It's a good thing. So this is the consistent redundant. We've been doing this every rehearsal and this has been our workhorse piece, and I want to just bridge the gap between these two things. What we just did, harmonically speaking, is basically identical to this meandering tune. In this case, we're gonna kind of take all of the structure out of it, and I want everybody to literally wander. And in this case, using the physical space helps sometimes. Like I was going to encourage people to come behind here, or switch, whatever. When we have a bigger space, like when the downstairs is finished, we're gonna have the ability to move to different sectors of the room that will have different that'll have different dominant harmonics. But for now, just remember that you can move, and I know you guys are already doing your kind of yoga. But just that getting closer or farther from the speaker can be a really valuable thing. But again, for this exercise, we're just gonna everybody's gonna be in your own space. Try to, if you're live, be fairly quiet so that most of the room's sound is the harmonies coming from the speaker. And if you're in cyberspace, go wherever you want. Obviously, Chris, I know you often have your guitar out and stuff like that. I wouldn't want to discourage that. Here we go. This is Freeform over the meandering over nature's scale. I should have put drums in this for this one. Here we go. Or not. So same idea. I want to do that exercise again, and I just realized that one of my intentions for this group is really to encourage compositional exploration. And so this time, I want to do the same thing, but I want to give you this simple direction, this intention. Do whatever you want, and consider throughout this entire take of this same exercise. Start at the beginning and wander, find and listen to yourself sing and look for a melody and try and repeat it for the entire thing. Any melody, any small melody, and it can change as much as it wants, and it can evolve as much as it wants. But I want everybody to try and take some idea, whether 1, 2, 3, or 20 notes, and try and repeat it a lot of times. Because what I found in composition is that when I traditionally I always start with a chord progression. The song will find its way to you if you let it, and it'll like as I'm improvising through that, I keep on hearing the same set of pitches come back and kind of want to be expressed. And for me, this song is unwritten, and I think that the ideal composition that comes out of this includes melodies from literally every person who's participating in this thing. So I'm actually gonna move my mic far away from my own mouth so that the people in cyberspace aren't catching too much of what's going on. Maybe catch the vibe of what's going on in this room. It's really cool. But I would like everybody to be undistracted melodically. Live musicians probably want to finger in one ear so that you have a lot of your own voice, but it's up to you. Here we go. Same thing again, and repeat whatever you come to. Repeat it lots and lots and lots of times and let it evolve. Myself, I promised myself and others that we would have a strict 8 o'clock cutoff. So people can stick around after that, but I want to make sure that we come to a stopping point before 8 and allow people to cut loose if they want. And it's already 7:56. Okay, so we'll just touch on real quick the same exercise we did in weeks past. This is the 4-part exercise, and in this case, what is the best way to do this? Let's just unmute all 4 of them. This doesn't blast us out, and then the chorus comes in. Should be fine. So this piece we've done a bunch too, and this is the one where it's intentionally we do all the 4 parts and then we sing against 3 other parts, and it's intentionally 4-part harmony. But I want to go a different direction with it tonight because we only have a couple of minutes left, and I want people to again wander through it and use this as an improvisational piece, and instead of it's just a more complex improvisational piece. I guess I could bring up the sheet music here. It's this chord progression instead of 2 chords back and forth. It's these 4 chords. The first is the 8, 10, 12, and then this is the 8 again, the 16. The second is the 8, 10, 13, and then again the 16, which is the 8. Then the 8, 11, 13, and then it ends with the 9, 11, 13, 15. So these are kind of the first 4 chords that you come to intuitively when you begin engaging with this material. So I want everybody, again, just to be in your own world and improvise through this. Allow your voice to wander, to find pitches, make mistakes, and look for melodies. Start hunting for melodies, because we will be, we're going to write melodies over this exact chord progression. That's one of the things we're going to do. Same exercise, here we go. Anything goes. Again, same idea. All this stuff, these are things that I just made for practice's sake, and we want to make them, eventually they'll become beautiful compositions that we will present that will double as both exercises and presentable compositions. Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up right there. I'm gonna keep recording, and we will do Q&A, but I want to make sure that folks who need to sign off right now can, and then we'll come back to Q&A, and we'll do a little bit more singing for those who want to stick around in a couple of moments. Yes, most of our just ask directly. Chris, let me know. How's your time, Brian? You
I gotta check with my wife. She's
you guys doing all right? I have one other person who often shows up online. You guys have any questions? I know you guys are still a little newer to this than the rest, so I like to get the Q&A sessions on the Zoom recording so that if other people have similar questions, they're available. If you guys have them, now's the time. Fire one. If not, we'll just sing a little bit. Okay, so how is that experience for you guys? Are you guys able to get into just improvising over random changes?
I like the improvising.
You do. You're
Yeah.
into that. Okay.
That's my
Yeah.
favorite part.
Okay,
Easier
good.
than the 4-point.
Because that's really, I mean, that's so where it's at. Like, it's just,
But
it's.
you need the rounds to like ingrain the sounds
Yeah.
into your mind, and then we can start playing. And
Yeah. And it's a lot of, I mean, what we're, just really pounding on that scale so that it's in there, and a lot of just exploration, because if you go through these changes, the scale will teach itself to you. I mean, it's not like, you don't have to attack, it's a very left brain way to do it, to woodshed the scale a whole bunch and then do it. You can do it the other way too. It's totally valid. It's arguably better. Okay, so let's go back. Let's go into the same. I just want to run this one again. Let's do the exact same thing again. Because that works. That I was really enjoying that. Good. Okay. Same thing. We're just gonna leave this wide open and really encourage people to improvise through this and find find your muse in the changes. I'll get the. Well, I'll start it and then I'll put those changes back up on the
there's like a click track.
It's recorded in there. It's
It doesn't seem quite in the right spot or something. I don't know.
It is a little weird, and I don't actually know why it's a little bit weird. Okay, so it's 8:06. Again, if anybody needs to jet, please do so. I'm gonna keep on going because it feels like there's energy for that. The way those exercises that we were just doing all at the very exact same time are actually designed is to learn the specific parts. So if you can imagine this song, or this part of this song, if you can imagine a big choir just singing those ahs, and it kind of gives you this kind of big grandiose thing, one of the things that we get to learn is those parts. So this is the soprano part, and for the purposes of this choir, it doesn't matter. It can be sung by men and women, and generally speaking, there'll be some doing octaves. But this exercise gives you our part. In this case, we're going to all sing the soprano part 4 times. Then it gives all the parts, including that part, 4 times. Then it gives all the parts except for that part. And so again, the idea is to get to the point where you can sing your part against the harmonies, and that's bad nomenclature as well, in harmony with the other harmonies. And so let's together do the soprano part, and if we that's about how much time we'll have, and we'll cap it at a half hour. We'll go through all 4 of these. So soprano part, we will get our part 4 times, and then we'll be singing with the choir, and then we'll be singing in harmony with all 3 of the other parts, and then it'll go back and forth between those 2 things a couple of times. Here we go. Soprano part. Oh, I guess I'll put the music up. Keep on losing that music.
Il soprano.
What's that?
Il soprano.
I don't even know where that went. Need a new set of eyeballs. Okay, here we go, soprano part. So it's the 16, 16, here comes the choir. Oh, not yet. Next one. With the choir. Okay, so let's switch to the alto part next.
Always cheating an octave down.
Yeah, it's always okay. Always okay to go up or down, whatever is comfortable for you. Brian said if you guys couldn't hear him out there, he was cheating an octave down, and that is definitely appropriate. Always appropriate. All of this stuff translates oxygen. What's that?
A lot of songs I sing, I have to switch the octaves.
Yeah, totally. And the harmonic series is all. I mean, it's. I don't want to go too far into the tangent, but it's definitely it's where it's at. So we're doing the alto part now, and the part in numbers is 12, 13, 13, 13. Same format. We'll get it 4 times. Just the part so that we can get it in our ears, and then we'll sing it with the choir, and then we'll sing it in harmony with the choir without that part. That's a 12, 13, 13, 13, 12, 13, 13. In the chakra language, it would be throat chakra, third eye, third eye, third eye, Okay, very good. So that was the alto part going from the 12, 13, 13, 13. This is the tenor parts. And obviously this is probably self-explanatory, but where we're going with this is that we'll all sing these individually and we begin breaking them up. I've always been a big fan of, if you're in a choir that's serious, everybody learns every part. You want to know every part, be able to sing every part, and then that way when you really know your part, you can listen out and hear all the other parts while you're in the room being the music. It's really important to me. And this project is designed to go slow. We take as much time as we need to. We don't, there's no rush, so we can do this 10 quintillion times. Again, tenor part is 10, 10, 11, 11. In chakra language, that'd be third, third, fourth, fourth. In colors, it's yellow, yellow, green, green. And the same format. Here we go. Tenor part. Oh, that's the 10, 10, 11, 11. Solar plexus, solar plexus. chorus. Heart, heart, 10, 11, yellow, yellow, 12, 12. Here comes the choir. Okay, that's the tenor part. Bass part. Root, 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 second chaga, or red, 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 yellow, or red, 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 orange, or 8, 8, 8, 9.
Root and sync.
Okay, and here we go, same format. Okay, that's the bass part. Let's close in 5. I want to go back to the same piece, but go back to improvisation. The more time we can spend exploring these things with our creative side, the better. So same thing with all 4 parts active. I'll make it nice and loud in here. We might do one little more thing after this, but let's have this be the wrap-up part. I'm gonna go do my improvisation from a yoga place. Here we go. And again, anything goes here. There's no wrong notes. Make melodies. Enjoy yourself. Explore. Sorry for the abrupt endings. I'll solve that at some point. So again, all these exercises exist. I highly encourage people to take these things out into the forest or into a cave or the bunkers at Fort Worden, and we should actually bring this entire group into the bunkers. What's that?
Have you heard about the cistern at Fort Worden?
Yeah. No, this group will we will be going to the cistern. There's no question about it. These are important things. Before we wrap up, anybody got anything you want to add or subtract or anything like that? Okay.
I love the stuff that came through.
Good.
Just improving. That was
Yeah.
really fun.
Yeah. In the other format, so we do right now. It's Tuesdays and Thursdays. The Tuesdays is all online. Thursdays are hybrid. One of the advantages of online is that we get to record it all, and at some point we'll get, we'll have good enough quality that we can retain some of that stuff and actually start building out of it, which is pretty exciting stuff. I know not everybody's into hybrid or online, and that's totally cool too. That's why I'm trying really hard to make it be, to cross that barrier, which has its challenges. But huge gratitude for being here. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thank you.
all of you, and everybody out there. This, I believe, will be posted. I might edit it lightly, but probably we'll just stick it up there so that the people who couldn't attend can watch it. Chris, you good? I see you over there, and see that Chris is leading our Tuesday night thing, which is I'm stoked about. I haven't actually reviewed it yet, but I'm looking forward to reviewing it. Okay, closing up. Thanks for being here, everybody.
Blessings.
See you, Chris. Good to see you. Thanks for everything, Josh. That's the tech guru over there.
Sure.
Who's making all this shit work.
Thank you.
Right? Yeah, seriously.